Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with an update on the current situation here in Spain, day 362 of the current situation. And it was a huge day for politics yesterday here in Spain as a motion of no confidence in the small region of Murcia sent shockwaves around the country, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through a donation. You can see your names here. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, yesterday was a huge day as far as the political spectrum here in Spain is concerned, and it all started in Murcia. As we can see here, a Citizens Party turnaround causes a political earthquake in Spain. The vote of no confidence in Murcia and Ayuso's reaction in Madrid force all of the major parties to adjust their strategies. The Spanish butterfly effect began in Murcia. The precarious balance in which the two great Spanish political blocs live has been completely broken by a movement that was initially local, derived from tensions over the various scandals during the vaccination process and pressure from Vox, but with rapid national consequences. In just a few hours, a motion by the PSOE party and the Citizens Party to oust the PP from power in Murcia has provoked the fall of the government in Madrid, one of the great European economic poles, and threatens to destabilise other regions such as Andalusia and Castilla y León, where another PSOE no-confidence motion has been tabled. So the butterfly effect began in Murcia. The Citizens Party, unhappy with the way the Partido Popular was running the show down there, decided to put forward that vote of no confidence, join with the Socialist Party and oust, as we saw, the PP government. And that, of course, sent shockwaves, as I said, around the whole country. The Madrid Premier was one of the first people to react, and as we can see here, she called for Madrid to go to the polls on the 4th of May to avoid a PSOE and citizens' vote of no confidence. "I cannot allow Madrid to lose its freedom," says the president, as the opposition tries to avoid elections by filing two motions of no confidence in the assembly. The seismic wave of the motions of no confidence presented against the PP in Murcia by the PSOE and Citizens Party has reached Madrid in the form of a major political earthquake. The regional president, the popular Isabel Díaz Ayuso, on Wednesday dismissed the Six Seas councillors from her government, ordered the dissolution of the assembly, and called elections for May the 4th in order to curb the threat that the Madrid representatives of the Orange formation would replicate the Murcian strategy to dislodge her from power. "I have decided to take this decision against my will, out of responsibility," she said. And Ms. Díaz Ayuso was also quoted as saying, "Now it will be the people of Madrid who decide between socialism or freedom." She explained in an appearance without questions the reasons that have led her to dissolve the assembly and call early elections in Madrid. "I have had to make the decision," she said, following the motion of no confidence this morning in Murcia. "The time has come to think big. Madrid needs a stable government." So some big words there from the Madrid Premier: socialism or freedom. And she obviously didn't feel comfortable with the relationship she has with the Citizens Party in Madrid. Remember that the Vice Premier of Madrid also belongs to that party. However, it's still unclear whether elections will be held in Madrid because, as we just saw, two motions of no confidence were presented yesterday, and that could impede elections being held. It now has to go to the justice system, so we'll wait and see what the result is there. So what do all of these changes mean for the political landscape here in Spain? Well, basically instability. As we can see here, Spain's political instability worsens after centre-right unity is blown apart. The government and the Socialist Party did not expect Ayuso to respond to the Murcia vote of no confidence by calling elections in the Madrid region. The breakdown of the agreements between the parties that make up the political spectrum ranging from the centre to the extreme right has shattered the political scene and exacerbated institutional and political instability in Spain. So more political instability for a country that needs more political stability. The political harmony that the centre-right found back in 2018-2019 that led to these political coalitions smashed yesterday, and now we face more political uncertainty in Spain. Now, yesterday the announcement was made by the health department that the country is going to close down for the Easter period and also for the San Jose long weekend. As we can see here, the health ministry and communities except Madrid approved the perimeter closure at Easter and the San Jose long weekend. The Ministry of Health and the regional governments, with the exception of the Community of Madrid, have reached an agreement on Wednesday on minimum and common restrictions, such as the perimeter closure of the communities over the San Jose long weekend and Easter week to avoid an increase in cases of the coronavirus. Thus, citizens will not be able to travel between the autonomous communities of mainland Spain. The curfew will begin at 11 p.m. at the latest, and gatherings will be limited to a maximum of 4 people in enclosed spaces and 6 people in open public spaces, with meetings of non-cohabitants in homes prohibited. So the central government and the autonomous communities here in Spain reaching a consensus and deciding to close the country down for the Easter period and for that other long weekend. But as we saw, Madrid didn't agree. As we can see here, Madrid does not comply with the perimeter closure agreed between the Health Ministry and the communities for Easter and the San Jose long weekend. Madrid will not comply with the perimeter closure for the San Jose and Easter long weekends agreed by the Ministry of Health and the autonomous communities at the meeting of the Interterritorial Council on Wednesday. Madrid is not going to close its borders, the Madrid Health Minister, Enrique Ruiz Escudero, said at a press conference after the meeting. The Community of Madrid was the only one to vote against at the Interterritorial Council meeting, while Catalonia did not cast its vote. Escudero pointed out that this decision is not political but technical. Every time it has been made, this closure has not allowed the control of contagions, the minister criticised. So Madrid again going its own way, deciding not to agree with the central government and the other autonomous communities here in Spain, and it will be interesting to see what happens over those holiday breaks. With Madrid's borders open, but all of the other autonomous community borders closed on mainland Spain, I for one am fascinated to wait and see what happens. And with the internal borders here in Spain closed, but with international borders open, Spain at Easter will be a bunker for Spaniards and an oasis for foreign tourists. The Spanish Health Service is committed to shielding the regions for Easter week, while tourists from all over the world are booking hotels in our country. The paradox that Spain will foreseeably experience this Easter was summed up yesterday by the Minister of Health of the Community of Madrid, Enrique Ruiz Escudero. A citizen of Paris can arrive at Barajas Airport and we cannot go to Albacete. In this context of shielding national travel, it is surprising that Spain is the second country in the world with the highest number of hotel bookings, according to the Travelgate X-Tourism Connections platform. According to data from the largest network of hotel providers, our country ranks second, after the US, in percentage of accommodation bookings worldwide, with 18.2% of total bookings made in the last 7 days. And on the topic of foreign tourism in Spain and the Valencian community, we can see here from this headline, Ximo Puig's perimeter closure sieve, more than 175,000 foreign tourists in 3 months. So there we go, the Valencian sieve, 175,000 foreign people visited the Valencian community during that 3-month period, while people resident in that autonomous community were not allowed to leave. A bit strange, but as we know, it is what it is. Now let's have a look at the health data here in Spain, starting with the vaccination plan. We can see that complete vaccination has been achieved on 3.06% of the population, and people with at least 1 dose is now at 7.48% of the population. Countrywide health data now, we can see the total amount of cases, the accumulated incidence rate now sitting at 139. There have been 518 COVID-related deaths in the last 7 days. There are currently 9,116 people hospitalised around the country with COVID, and there are 2,320 people in ICUs with COVID currently. Now, there's been a few people asking for an update on the COVID-19 vaccination passport that the European Union is talking about. I found this article here. The Tourism Minister Reyes Maroto says vaccination passports could be available in May. We are working on the development of different instruments to guarantee safe mobility, including the digital certificate promoted by the European Commission, for which a specific working group has been created, she added. She also explained that the current vaccines and that of Janssen, of the US multinational Johnson & Johnson, which will be approved in a matter of days, provide a new element that facilitates mobility and will allow 30 to 40% of the population to be vaccinated in spring and 70% by the end of summer. So, according to the Tourism Minister, the vaccination passport or digital certificate could be ready as early as May in order to guarantee, as she said, safe mobility to foreign countries. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Claire. Hi Stuart, fantastic show, watch it every day. We are English and got our Spanish residency. We are retired, even though under retirement age, with private health care. Wondered if you know how we will be contacted to get our vaccinations, as we are not registered on the public health system. We live in Villajoyosa. Thanks and keep giving us all your knowledge. Just love it, Claire and Al. Yeah, Claire, thanks for the comment and good to see you like the videos and watch them every day. Not really sure what's happening when it comes to private healthcare and the vaccination plan here in Spain. I did read that some autonomous communities that do have big foreign resident populations, like for example Valencia, Alicante, Malaga, places like that, have mentioned something about this. I remember hearing the Premier of Andalusia, Mr. Moreno, saying that they are talking with private health institutions down there in order to get the vaccine into the population and for people that don't belong to the public system. And I'm sure that your private healthcare provider will let you know when the vaccine becomes available, or whether as residents and registered in your municipality you will be able to use local public services. That could also be an option. One here from Clyde. Stuart, having a walkabout? Any snakes out there to look out for? I thought the pandemic has decreased traffic and reduced the smog. Nice change of pace. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Clyde, thanks for the comment. I did get out and about yesterday, went for a bit of a walk, went walkabout as they say in Australia, although I wasn't gone for long. I didn't see any snakes. I haven't seen many snakes in this area, at least if you compare it to what Australia is like. Every time I go back home, I see at least 2 or 3 snakes when I go running in bushland down there, but here, not many snakes around. I have seen a few in the past, small ones, but I don't know whether they are deadly or not, but as we know, better to avoid snakes. And the traffic did decrease there for a while. Last year when we had the complete lockdown, traffic disappeared, smog disappeared, but as soon as the economy opened up again, the smog was back, the traffic was back, because as we know, Madrid hasn't really shut down and people are going about their day to day more or less normally. And that is the reason for that layer of smog that we saw over the city yesterday. One here from James. Don't show me those blue skies again, Stu. Too depressing when we are stuck in the grey UK. Hope to get to Spain in June when we both have had the 2 jabs. Yeah, James, thanks for the comment. I can understand that those blue skies that I showed yesterday could be a bit depressing for people living in the north of Europe or the UK that are normally more accustomed to grey skies. Here we are quite lucky. Blue skies are quite common, although it can be quite cold, but we normally get a nice clear blue sky. And hopefully you guys will be able to get down to Spain in June. I think the UK is lifting those travel restrictions at the end of May or sometime in May, not really 100% sure. And we just saw the health minister there saying that that vaccination passport or digital certificate should be up and running sometime in May. So as I said, hopefully you guys can get down here and get some sun on your backs. One here from Winston. Hi Stu, I had 3 operations on my right knee, long jump and triple jump. I don't do any running, only cycling, which my doctor says is better than running. So maybe you should try cycling. Okay mate, have a good one. Yeah, Winston, thanks for the comment. I was also a long jumper and a triple jumper back in the day, and that could also be one of the reasons for my dodgy knees. And running 2 or 3 times a week for the last 30 years hasn't helped either. I might take you up on your advice and start cycling. Some other people have also recommended that cycling is very good for knees. Less impact, of course, on the joints, so I might have to dust off my bike and get out and about on it. One here from PB Operations. I drive between Madrid and Valencia every week. I'm never stopped. Restrictions are effectively voluntary. Yeah, PB, thanks for the comment and thanks for telling us that you were able to drive from Madrid to Valencia on a weekly basis and that you have never been stopped. I'm not exactly sure what the restrictions are and where the restrictions are. I'm sure that every now and again you could come across some type of police control. Maybe not on the main road network, I don't know, because obviously if you travel between Madrid and Valencia, it's one of these main motorways, the A3. I have seen police controls coming into places like this one here on the entrances to this particular municipality. I have seen the police, the civil guard, on numerous occasions stopping people, and they even have an app in their phones which can look at your license plate and see whether you are in the correct place or not. But I think it's just too difficult to police every road in Spain, and that could be one of the reasons why you have never been stopped. Not really sure. And finally, one here from Peter. Looks lovely. How do you film? On your own or with help? Any animals where you were walking? Yeah, Peter, thanks for the comment. I record all my videos on my own. I do all of the video work, all of the sound work. Don't have any external help. For yesterday's video, I used the gimbal, which is a handheld device which gives me some type of stability, and it could look as though somebody else is filming the video, but that is not the case. Are there any animals where I went walking yesterday? The answer is yes. Sometimes you see a couple of rabbits. You might see the odd feral cat. And I think foxes at night come out to play. But apart from that, there's not much else. On that note, I'll start to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the situation out as you normally do. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta mañana.